What's going on, Jerome's? Happy Monday. Birds are chirping and stuff. It's time for another Vikings news dump. So I know this is like an old curmudgeon boomer take, and we talked about the draft format back in the day. Like previously, the combine, I might be wrong, but I feel like the combine took place over like 3 days. Like everything was jam-packed in, and also it was during the day, right? I know everything's about TV, but the combine doesn't have to last a week, and not everything has to be in prime time. Like, who in the, like, obviously football hardcore is yes, but who's watching dudes run in their underwear on a Friday prime time? Nah. But there was some stuff so I do like that it's spread out and that's segmented by, position groupings generally, but offensive line, they did their testing and also their drills on Sunday and a couple standouts, right? So our guy Jared Wilson, also Tate Ratledge, the entire Georgia interior offensive line, Fairchild's there as well. I mean, they did it, and I do think that Ratledge and Wilson are probably in that day 2 conversation to begin with. I think it's going to be higher on day 2 because there's going to be a lot of talk about players that move to center, and Gray Zabel we talked about, Tyler Booker from Alabama potentially moving to center now. Jared Wilson is the only true blue center in this class, and I know I like my guy Jake Majors and Jonah Monheim later on, but if you want like a meaty day 2 starter from day 1 at center, it's Jared Wilson. Now, could that be out of the range from the Vikings? Drafting at 24, 97, maybe they drop down. Who knows? Also, Ratledge is just a set it and forget it guard. Bring him in, plop him in on your line. 8+ years, he's going to rip things up. So, glad they both check the boxes. And we said this before, if they tested average, I mean, if their RAS was 7 as opposed to 9.98, 9.97, I still wouldn't be overly concerned. And we'll talk about Tyler Booker here in a second, but it really is just more about. So players and trainers and agents definitely game the system, right? So they train specifically for these drills. I understand it. They're playing the game, and they're reacting to incentives placed in front of them. But at the end of the day, tape is what matters the most. You can run a 4.2 40, but if you don't know where you're going, that's a 5.2 40. Something like that. And with Tyler Booker, I know people are up in arms about Booker and his testing. 4 RAS, a slow 40, not too explosive, but I mean, dude is 6'5" and 321, and he's gonna be fighting in a 3-foot world. He's gonna be in a phone booth. He's gonna do all that stuff. Now, it is a little bit concerning because you wonder about him getting second level, worry about him getting out on screens, pulling, and all that stuff, plus outside zone. But like I said, tape is the tape. And I wonder if there's something up here because Booker, eyeball test watching the tape, this is not him, right? Movement skills are not an issue with Booker. Is he the most fleet foot guard in the world? Is he Tate Ratledge? No. But is he an absolute mauler and a monster and probably a 10, 12-year starter in this league, a high-level starter, probably Pro Bowl, maybe even All-Pro guard? Yes, he is. So I know that some people and maybe even some teams may be turned off by Booker. I ain't. No, if Booker's the pick at 24, still ecstatic about it because so testing numbers are sort of like analytics. They're a part of the equation. They're not the be-all, end-all. I think what matters most is what you see with your eyes. Yeah. And eyeball says that Tyler Booker is still going to be one hell of a player, man. But testing-wise, it was not great. It was so bad where you wonder if Booker had an injury, like the Texas tight end who turned his ankle on his first fall start. But yeah, you wonder if these numbers come up significantly at his pro day. I think that he was probably dealing with a little something, and that's what happens. If you have a bad day, or if you're minorly injured at the combine, it can cost you. Someone who made some cash is Missouri offensive lineman Armand Membou. So played right tackle. A lot of people project him inside. I would try to give him a chance at right tackle first if you're just a nameless, faceless team. Then kick inside. I know that people aren't always enamored about kicking tackles inside. I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine. And it's so funny in the mock drafts, we'll take an offensive tackle. We'll specifically say we're going to move him to guard. Oh, but we don't need tackles. Or we take an edge rusher and we'll specifically say we're going to play him at 5 tech, which generally is considered a defensive interior position. We don't need edge. So stupid. Anyways, but So Membou's got movement skills, 4.91 in the 40, explosiveness, great in the vert and the broad jump. Plus, just tape-wise, athlete, recovery, and all that stuff. So, I mean, could a player like Membou be in play for the Vikings? I mean, because obviously the Vikings don't need depth at tackle. Although if Christian Darrisaw doesn't start off the season, maybe starts off on the pup, it's possible. But also, I mean, some estate planning for Brian O'Neill would be smart. And if that player can start at guard and in the interim, would be smart as well. So Membou definitely could be a name that the Vikings could consider at 24 up there in the first round. Because I think there's a lot of these tackles that could potentially kick inside the guard. Also, someone who showed up and showed out over the weekend was Jaylin Lane, the speedster, wide receiver, return man. Also ran the ball a little bit. Him and Bashul Tootin. So could you say that Jaylin Lane is like Diet Percy Harvin? Maybe, but put up some nice numbers at Virginia Tech. Not eye-popping, but he's more of a satellite player, and I think that he is going to be a wide receiver 3-4 in this league. A vertical slot, taking the top off the defense, that deep speed. I mean, maybe it's not the 83, but he does remind you a little bit of Jalen Speedy Naylor. Also is a plus return man as well, and this is great. So Jaylin Lane. Only 5'9", a $191. His father, Brian Lane, chimed in. Jaylin, sorry about your size. I'm married for love. But you see, Jaylin with a 9.68 RAS, 4.34 40, 40, rocking up a 40-inch vert, 11-foot broad jump, and just great in the agility drill. Like, absolutely bat bleep insane in the agility drills. It's funny. All right, so this is what happens too, because I feel like most people marry for love. I'd say like 99.999% people marry for love or money. Love or money. But in terms of thinking about athletic genetics, I feel like most people don't do that. So my wife is very unathletic. And, she's like, what, 5? She's like 5'6", $120. And, that's not going to get me any Asian LeBrons. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not too much of an athlete to begin with either. So if some of our kids were going to be elite athletes, mom's going to have to step up. Like, does LeBron have a sister? Does Danielle Hunter have a sister? We could work this out. I don't know, man. But anyways, I love when Pops chimes in. Like, one of my favorite accounts on the old Twitter machine is Addison's dad. Because he chirps, he's in his kid's corner 100%. I love it. He's hilarious, man. He's fantastic. Also fantastic. So we talked about this yesterday, but the Vikings had a formal interview with presumed number 1 overall pick, number 1 quarterback, Cam Ward, coming out of Miami, formerly of Washington State, formerly of Incarnate Word. Jeremy Fowler, one more interesting nugget that might mean nothing, but is at least noteworthy. The Vikings interviewed Cam Ward at the Combine. Now, so we said yesterday, it's interesting that Ward took the meeting since, top picks, sometimes they decline formal interviews with teams that aren't going to be in range to draft them. It just is what it is. But, I mean, with Kwesi reportedly sitting out some of these interviews because of an illness, maybe Kevin O'Connell is just having fun. I'm the quarterback guy. I want to know what makes his quarterback tick. Laying down the groundwork for after Cam Ward busts on his rookie deal, he could bring him in and, I can try to fix you. Even though Ward, after his rookie deal, is going to be like 30. Sort of that. I mean, I wonder if this is going to continue. Because I know it's like ripple effects of the Rona year, but with all these additional years of eligibility and NIL money and kids staying in college longer, like, is the 24-year-old rookie going to be the norm now? I guess we'll see. It's going to be weird. Some that should not be weird is DJ Reed. Go DJ. That's my DJ. If the Vikings lose Byron Murphy Jr. for agency, I think they should go hard in the paint for DJ Reed, the pride of Kansas State. 5 Niners for life. That's me. I'm 5'8". But so Dov Kleeman, of course, the aggregator extraordinaire. Rumor, star cornerback DJ Reed is not expected to resign with the Jets per Connor J. Hughes. Now, Connor Hughes clarified here, and this is kind of the problem with aggregators, is that they'll boil down a take into not so many words, and they'll put it in a sort of a headline-grabbing clickbait title. Yeah. But Connor Hughes context here. Reed is, per multiple sources, a top free agent corner. He's going to get paid. Belief is it will be hard to pay both him and Sauce. Now, basically what he said is what Dav surmised in a more catchy headline, but also it's not 100% what Connor Hughes said. So that's always the problem with these aggregators. I know that it's really easy to snatch them up. I know that we talk about them a lot on the dump because, like I said, I mean, it's truncated and it's catchy. That's what you want. But DJ Reed likely going to be out with the Jets, hit free agency. Come on in. That's right. Vikings checking the boxes a lot at corner. Murph goes. Take the money you're going to pay Murph. Throw it at DJ Reed. Let's go. Love DJ Reed. Someone the Vikings probably won't be throwing free agent money at is Osa Odighizuwa, prior to UCLA. Fowler, So says the Cowboys plan to utilize the franchise tag on defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa. If a long-term deal is not reached by Tuesday, no final decision, but that is the current expectation. Tag is projected at $25.1 million. So basically, they're doing the tag with the intention of signing them long-term, just buying a little extra time. It's what the Bears did with Jaylin Johnson. It's what the Bucs did with Antoine Winfield Jr., and it's what the Cowboys are going to do with Osa. And kind of sucks because Osa's a bad dude. In terms of getting your own pass rush, like Osa is that guy. I loved him coming out of UCLA. He was just all heart and hustle, but yeah, probably not going to be in the Vikings' plans this time around. That's right. All in on Milton Williams. There you go. Speaking of movement, Bleacher Report, Jets are taking calls on Davante Adams that are open to trading him before the start of the season. Per rap sheet, they are expected to release him if a deal doesn't get done. It's not going to get done. No one is calling about this contract. So stupid. But he's going to get cut. Rodgers is going to get cut. And then Davante Adams is just going to follow Rodgers to wherever they go. And it's going to be funny. That's probably going to be the Giants. Haven't Giants fans suffer? Well, first off, you think that, man, Giants fans have really been through it. But then you remember that most of the Giants fans are Yankees fans, so screw them. Anyways, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central Time, is the only time zone that matters, is the closing of the franchise/transition tag window. Will the Vikings get a tag and trade done with Darnold? I don't know. Like, you hear conflicting reports. It goes back and forth. Like I said, it's peak BS season, and everyone's just trying to get their 2 cents in. I don't think that the Vikings would tag Darnold just to hope to gin up a trade market. I don't see that happening. Like, if there's nothing there, I don't think that the Vikings just tag him and maybe rescind it later. I don't think they go down the road. And unlike Osa, I don't think it's a tag to look to extend him. I think that if the Vikings don't have the framework of a tag and trade in place by 3 p.m. tomorrow, I don't think he's tagged. And then I think he hits free agency. And I think that if he's not tagged in any fashion, I think that's it for Darnold. Like, I don't see them working out a deal after the tag window is closed. Just don't see that happening. So Raiders, hey, Spytek, Kelly, Petey Pablo, Tom Brady, get something done. We will take your finest second round picks or your high third, one of the two. So there you go. Anyways, that is it. A Vikings news dump on this beautiful, glorious, wonderful Monday. It's good. You guys know what to do. Skol, production value.